We did the draft. We did the monster draft. The monster draft. It was a graveyard smash. The monster draft. We did the monster draft. The monster draft. Wow. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance, but not today.
Ooh,
we did last week, and we will next week, I promise. But not today.
This week, it's horror-mance. It's that time of month, Richard, where the spookiness comes out.
No, not that time of the month. Don't say it's that time of the month. That's the scariest thing you've ever said.
Yeah, it's the spookiest time of the month where everything you say is awful and wrong. Because you're a man, Richard, and don't you forget it. No, Richard.
Despite my hardest effort.
Only on the inside. This, Richard, it's that time. It's the scary time of month where we have Halloween around the corner. It's the macabre time of year. It's apple cider season. Yeah, it's that time of season, Richard.
Oh my God. I'm sure I've said this before. I love apple cider so much.
So,
so much.
We've talked pretty recently about me passing out by a tree, but I've never passed out drinking, Richard. Apple cider and Fireball.
Oh,
it's delicious. You mix the apple cider and the Fireball.
No, I've had it.
It's the apple and the cinnamon. You're like, oh, it warms the tum-tum.
So good.
But Richard, so what we like to do these times of months, whenever we have a draft coming up, we like to do kind of a spooky draft. So we've done like a horror movie draft. We've done a slasher draft. We've done scary movie drafts. So what we're going to do is our movie monster draft. So we've kind of done something similar to this, but I took the approach of kind of the things that freaked me out a little bit and made it a little general. It's not really I didn't really go down like the Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers paths. I went more down the big kind of monsters.
Monsters that scare the ever-loving Jabezus out of you.
That's right. And so if you don't know, and you should, what our drafts are, there's 7 rounds, NFL style, where we flip-flop picks back and forth. Back in the day, we flipped a penny to see who goes first, and I won. So on odd drafts, I get the first pick. Even drafts, Richard gets the first pick, and this is an odd draft, a spooky draft. So I get the first pick. And so, Richard, what I want to start out with, this is a monster that, I would say probably at the time when you and I became best friends, you told me about this movie. You're like, I went to see this movie. They had this trailer, and I'm like, I don't fucking know what this is about, but it looks amazing. This is by a one J.J. Abrams. And it's a monster that to this day, we don't know where it came from. It just all of a sudden starts showing up and scaring people.
It did.
That is the Cloverfield monster.
Yeah. Apparently its name is Clover.
Oh, well, that makes sense why they call it Cloverfield then.
Yeah. Apparently the name for the monster, if you look on the internet, the monster is referred to as Clover.
But it's this weird, like almost large insect type of monster. What's scary about this type of thing, and there's other monsters like this, but when you have a monster that's the size of a building, it's like, what do you do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's monsters out there. It's like, I'm weak. I'm not strong. My wife would probably leave me if like the zombie apocalypse happened. But I could put up a fight against some monsters. The Cloverfield monster? No, I'm just running.
No. What do you got?
It doesn't eat me.
What do you got? It's literally like 500 times your size.
Yeah, and if you're in a city, like how freaky is that? It's like you're running down the street. Guess what? There's 10,000 people running down the exact same street trying to get away from it.
Yeah. And then that monster has the added benefit of like a bunch of little monsters jumping off it and then eating your face.
It's like the things from Mario Brothers that used to jump on you where you couldn't jump anymore unless you did like a quick wiggle. You had to wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah. Then you throw them off. Do you remember those things?
No.
You don't. It was like Mario 3.
Wait. Okay. In Mario 3. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. They're like little bug things, like ticks. They call you and they like circle
they
you.
flew around you.
Really quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to fling them off you because you couldn't jump as high.
Yeah.
But this is like I said, it's a big monster. And the scary thing too is like it didn't seem like it had any hatred or anything. It was just like, where the fuck am I? And why are all these big shiny things yelling at me?
Yeah, true story.
It's kind of like probably how like mosquitoes feel when like you walk through like their home and their habitat. Like, holy shit, what is this big thing? They start attacking you, and then you just start killing them.
Well, to be fair, fuck mosquitoes.
That's true. They bite you and suck your blood. It's kind of on them. Hey, Richard, did you know that the only type of mosquito that bites is a
what?
Female mosquito?
What?
I was just tying into our earlier conversation.
No. Let's not do that. God damn. I had a monster from Cloverfield on my list. I have a huge list, so I'm fine with like knocking stuff off. But the monster I had was the monster at the very end of Cloverfield Paradox.
Oh, remind me of that. It's been a minute since
That's the one where they're in space.
Yeah.
And at the spoilers, at the very end, they have the capsule that's coming back down to Earth. And as it's coming down, it like goes through the clouds. Like you see the capsule go through the clouds. And then that gigantic fucking monster head like comes out of the clouds and like it eats it. The space capsule.
Didn't it kind of look like the same monster though? If I remember right.
It did look like the same monster. But that's the thing. The thing that like I struggle to think of a movie where I've seen a monster that huge.
Yeah, where a capsule that's like probably, the size of a good sized building looks like a grape.
Yeah, not even a grape, like the seed of a grape.
We covered that movie because we were both excited for it. I don't remember what number it was. But thinking back on it, that movie really pissed me off. Because in that moment, what they should have done when they're coming back in the atmosphere, that should have been them starting the first movie. You know what I mean? Like
either that or just like I would have been fine with like seeing this whole like Brave New World covered with fucking horrible alien monsters. Like I've been with you for 3 movies. Like show me something fucking horrible and terrible. You know what I mean?
Well, they're kind of like, well, all these movies are related, but they're not really related. It's like JJ, listen. JJ's great at coming up with ideas. Like he's great at foreplay. He just can't land it. Like he'll get your nethers going, and you're like, "Oh, I'm getting so close." And he's like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm getting tired." You're like, "Wait, what? What's going on, JJ?"
Well, it's Star Wars.
Yeah, and he's coming back to try and finish that one. That's where he kind of started with the first one. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna let my buddy take over." And you're like, "Yeah, this would be nice and hot." And then he's like, "Hey, guess what?" You're like, oh,
it's funny because it's true.
That didn't feel as good. Can I get JJ back in here?
Could you tag out for a second?
And as he's leaving, he's like, I've got 3 more of these. You're like, I hope you don't. But my first round pick, Richard, I'm going to go with the Cloverfield monster.
Okay. So for my first round pick, I'm going to go with one of my first loves. I picked monsters that, yes, I thought some of them were scary and terrifying, but also monsters that I actually like kind of fell in love with a little bit and got like not weirdly obsessive, but slightly obsessive given the fact that I was but a wee child. So my first one is similar to a monster that similar to Clover, big as a building, stomping through, going, what the fuck's going on? For my first pick, Shawn, I'm going to go with the classic, the OG Godzilla.
Nice. That's a good pick. Because Godzilla is kind of that same thing where it's just, and what I love about Godzilla, at least the myths that I've heard about it, is that spawned because of the nuclear bombings. Like, because of the fear of all that they're like, what if it created this big-ass lizard monster that attacked our cities?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Originally, it was, they were testing hydrogen bombs in the ocean, and this, the way I think the original thing was that the monster already existed, but the bombs not only brought it to the surface to, eat ships and destroy Tokyo, but also is the reason that it breathes radioactive fire.
Oh, that makes sense. So that basically kind of mutated it almost.
Yeah.
And then Matthew Broderick has got to go and fight it and stop the eggs from hatching.
No. That is not what happened. There's no Matthew Broderick in my first round pick. I refuse. Sir.
Did you see the new one that just came out?
I have not seen the new one. I did see the one that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, which was good. I didn't think it was terrible,
I liked
but
it.
Definitely was kind of not what I was expecting, I guess.
I was really surprised that they killed off Walter White in the first 30 minutes.
I think that's what really kind of blew my mind, is because when that happens, you're like, well, I mean, he's kind of the main character. Like, he's going to come back, right?
And also, like, when you think about it, like, of all he was the only really, like, big name actor that was in that movie. I mean, the other guys, the other people in that movie had done stuff. But I would say, like, as far as billing goes, Bryan Cranston was, like, at the top of the pile in that cast.
Yeah, because it was a big deal that they casted him. Like, this is
30 minutes in, they're like, nope.
Take your $10 million and go, Brian. He's like, sure, I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
Cash money.
But I felt like that. I felt like the last Godzilla movie was a lot more true to form than what we've seen. Oh, that's what I'll say. But the old ones, I don't know what it was about Godzilla, like the original 56, the original 1956 Godzilla. I don't know what it was, but 6-year-old me, like, loved that fucking monster. Like, even though obviously it's a monster and it's, destroying buildings and stepping on fucking cars and picking up trains and full of people and throwing them everywhere. Like,
I mean, it was so
some horrible
scary.
shit. Like,
it was so scary. Blue Oyster Cult made a whole song about it.
Right? Like, that monster killed thousands in that movie. But, like, at the end of it, I was sad.
Because at the
end they kill the monster.
Yeah.
Well, they think they do, but obviously they don't, because they made 96,000 more movies.
Do you think it's kind of a control thing? Because, like, I mean, you think about, like, the nuclear bomb that was dropped on Japan, right?
Right.
Even if you saw that thing coming, it was like, what, like a 30-mile radius or something like that? Like, it was a large amount of... It was
something stupid.
And then the fallout from that, too. So, even if, like, you saw that plane coming, you're like, air raid, run!
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It's like, if you can hear it, there's no escape.
And then, like, if you see this big ass monster, Cloverfield or Godzilla, like, coming towards you, it's like, what do?
Yeah,
you hope it looks like a little bitty, like, toy lizard far away, because then you hope you
land like in between his toes or in the arch of his foot. Like, that's your best case scenario. You land like in the arch of his foot.
I mean, you think about some of the I mean, not to bring it down too much, but like, you think about 9/11, that was 2 or 3 buildings.
Yeah,
and how catastrophic that was just in that area. Could you imagine a whole city like that?
Yeah, because the that giant monster's stop. Like just rah 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 rah.
Yeah. Creeps me out.
And not only does it like pick up a building and smash things and like, but it breathes fucking radioactive fire.
Good point. Yeah, I feel kind of spoiled as humans because we don't really have, like, the biggest animal on planet Earth is, I think, the blue whale. It's like 100 feet long.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Of the discovered animals, it's the biggest ever too.
Yeah.
And that's in the ocean. So it doesn't come anywhere near me. The biggest land animal, I think, is the elephant. And it's, it's good size, but it's not building size.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other, I guess that's another thing that I found like super fucking interesting is the fact that like 6-year-old me is like, that could happen. Like that thing could be living in the bottom of the goddamn ocean right now. That thing could just be walking around. Rah, 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 rah. I like fish. Nom, 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 nom.
And oh shit! Oh god, Richard, that's Godzilla. That's how they should remake Godzilla. He's down there going rah rah. I love fish. Nom nom. He's like, but hey, where's all the fish going? Oh, I gotta get closer to the surface. No,
or here you go. So Fukushima happened, right? The Fukushima,
watch
nuclear
your
plant.
Mouth.
Like,
oh yeah,
like the Fukushima nuclear power plant, like that went down. Okay, and I've seen tons of stories about how the fallout from that whole disaster has like swept up in the ocean's current streams and stuff like that, and so like you're seeing a lot more fish in the ocean, like ending up with a degree of radiation. What if Godzilla is down the bottom? He's eating the radioactive fish. Then that's how he like mutates and starts breathing radioactive fire.
Oh.
And then all the fish start going away. And then he's like, where's all the fucking fish? And he shows up in the middle of, Los Angeles or fucking San Francisco. In the new movie, they have him in San Francisco. But he like pops out of the water and he's like, hey, who fucked up the fish?
Well,
and then
like
everybody in San Francisco is like, "Oh, it was him."
It was
and they all start pointing at each other. And then he's like, "Fuck this!" Rah! And breathes fire and everything.
Well, I was thinking like he's down, he's eating at a restaurant with his wife. It's not even it's a he. It's Karen. It's Karen with his husband at a restaurant, and they're eating fish. And she's like, "This tastes like it's got too much radiation. I want to speak to your manager." All right, Karen. Yeah. It's Mr. San Francisco, and she goes that way, and she goes, rah, 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 rah.
That's exactly, yeah. Next Godzilla movie, we just wrote it.
All right, well, for my second round pick, Richard, there are tons of this genre out there, but this is the one that I love the most, I think. It's always kind of the mind control or the doppelganger type of thing, but it's when you're in a small, confined, cabin fever-esque area, what is, I guess, what do you call it where you kind of like conspiracy theory around people?
Paranoia.
Is it the paranoia from being secluded from everything? Or is there really something going on? Richard, for my second round pick, I want to go with the monster from The Thing.
Oh, totally on my list.
Yeah, so this is a monster. It basically mimics what you are. It takes over your body, essentially. And it kind of like plays on like, oh, no, I have your memories. I'm you. That's a scary thing. Like, you think of stuff that, like, let's say you and I go on a trip and you're like, oh, my God, Shawn, you're acting kind of weird. I'm like, am I?
And then,
or am I acting
Shawn's
weird?
like, am I? And then his face opens up and, like, bites my arm off.
Yeah, and what do? You're like, I knew it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, oh shit, my arm's gone.
I think that's just, it's a very, I think as humans, naturally, we don't trust people. You think about, a lot of times when you hear about bad things happening, it's like, oh, well, I didn't see them doing that. And the thing, it's kind of like that. It's like, okay, you and I are secluded. We talked about our brocation last year. Like, we're in this Airbnb and I'm freaking out. And you're like, no, it's okay, Shawn. Let's hide in the bathroom. And we do, and guess what? Your face opens up, and you try to eat my leg. Yeah. I'm like, I knew it.
Yep. Also, ow!
You're still paying for half, right?
I think that's the thing that's the most terrifying when it comes to The Thing, is the fact that, like, there's no surefire way to tell, and by the time you figure it out, it's too late.
It's too late.
That's how the way you figure it out is you turn, and then all of a sudden, I have a 4-foot long neck and razor sharp teeth that are trying to eat your face.
Yeah, you're like, damn it, misjudged that one.
Yeah.
Have you heard? So the ending. Have you heard about the fan theory about that?
No.
So I can't remember the character's names, but it's Kurt Russell, and he's got a bottle of liquor, right?
Yeah.
And he hands it to the guy that's surviving with him. And the guy takes a big swig of it.
Uh-huh.
The fan theory is that what was in that bottle, Richard,
Uh-huh.
was lighter fluid. So when Kurt Russell handed lighter fluid and the thing took a big old swig, it was like, oh, yeah, that's good. A normal human wouldn't think that tastes good.
Yeah.
And so at that point, as the show ends, it's a thing where like Kurt Russell's like, I know that you know that I know that you're the thing.
Yeah.
But I think they made a video game after that was like takes place after that part that kind of disproves that fan theory. But like that's
I like that though.
We can
I didn't see the remake. Did you see the remake at all?
Oh, the remake. It's not a remake, it's a prequel, really. And it's really good. It shows you what took place. So you remember in the thing when they find out about like another experiment place that's like a few miles away?
Yeah.
And they go and they see a bunch of weird stuff there.
Yeah.
The one that they just remade takes place at that place. So it does,
okay.
It does what a sequel that like whenever I think of a prequel does really well. It basically takes like, okay, you know all this stuff that was kind of hinted in the first one? We're going to take you to that event. And so this movie ends with a dog running into the campsite from The Thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, I like that.
But yeah, my second round pick, Richard, is the monster from The Thing.
All right. So for my next pick, this is hard, and not because I mean I'm sure there's a couple on here that you have, but I know that there's some on here that you don't have, and so I want to get those because I like them so much. Shawn, for my next pick, this is a monster that I also like fell in love with at a younger age, and honestly spawned an interest that carried on through most of my childhood into my young adulthood. Like I was fascinated with this whole genre for a very long time, Shawn, and it all came down to one monster from one movie, and that monster was Dracula.
Ooh, I love the Dracula. Like, I mean, first off, you have the actual Dracula story.
Yes.
Which is freaky as shit on its own. And then you have the Dracula vampire story, which is really good too. So what about the Dracula thing is kind of interest you?
I'm not exactly sure what it was. I think if I'm really thinking about it, I think it comes down to a vampire is a monster that, again, like The Thing, it looks like us, it walks like us, it talks like us, but it's a predator. You know, basically it's the apex predator of planet Earth. Like its job is to hunt humans.
Well, and you know, truthfully,
and it doesn't do that by like with vampires, like they don't hunt humans by, you know, like running through the woods and chasing them down with the spear. Like the way a vampire hunts and stalks its prey is with, you know, seduction and charm and lulling them into false security, and that's when they hit.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times, Richard, I've been out at the club and some Middle Eastern man or middle like European man has come up to me and talked all like nice and sweet. And he's like, let's go back to the back of the club. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure thing. What's your name? He's like, Dracula. I'm like, oh, almost got me.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you say you're a doctor and your name's Acula? Dr. Acula?
What kind of medicine do you practice? Blood. I think that was the thing.
Hematologist, eh? Never thought.
Let's do another shot, Dr. Acula.
Dr. Acula. But yeah,
it's,
okay.
Well, what's scary about the Dracula type thing, too, is that, you know, as humans, you know, there's a ton of animals that their constant fear is like, oh my God, I hope I don't get eaten. Like, humans really don't have that fear. Like, you think about, like, me. Like, the only time I have that fear is if I'm in the ocean. I'm like, please, something don't come up and eat me.
Right.
But, like,
or if you're drunk in the woods.
Yeah, 'cause you're like, oh god. That's when you start coming to you like, oh, I hope a bear doesn't eat me. But like how, like Richard, can you count on like one hand how many times you're scared of like being eaten?
Right? Not very many, if at all.
But that's what kind of, I mean, it makes you very powerless, which is kind of like one of these other monsters we've kind of shown is it's just like,
and not just that, but there's a chance that there's a chance that it kills you, but there's also a chance that it turns you into the very thing that you're being killed by.
Yeah, but that'd be pretty sweet. You know, it's like, he's like, hey, I'm going to suck your blood. He's like, well, can you make me a vampire? He's like, well, that'll mean you'll be like alive forever and around me. He's like, yeah, it'd be cool. We'd be friends. He's like, yeah, sure. Gulp, 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 gulp. So when are you supposed to, stop?
So that was the thing is that with Dracula, like, not only was I like fascinated with the whole character and everything, I read the book like 3 times. I watched the Universal movie. I watched the remake they did in 1994 with fucking Winona Ryder was in it and Anthony Hopkins. There was a shit ton of people in that movie. It really did. Like, think about the cast in 1994's Bram Stoker's Dracula. You had Gary Oldman as Dracula. Then you had Winona Ryder. Keanu Reeves was in that movie.
He was in there, yeah.
Anthony Hopkins. Shit, who else? I'm forgetting like 3 other people. What a great fucking movie. But I watched the shit out of that movie. But like that, I would say, like, started a whole fascination with just vampires in general that carried through like my teen years when I was all like angsty and like vampires are fucking cool. I love the dark. I embrace the dark. The dark is so dark.
I'm going to put black fingernail polish and I'm going to roam the night.
Yeah, yeah. I had a hat. I used to wear a hat that had the word vampire in big white letters stitched on it. It was a black hat and it had vampire. I wore that hat until it fell apart.
Oh yeah,
like literally fell apart.
One thing, we don't have to do it tonight, but one thing I want to ping you, and maybe that's probably should be our Broloween episode, is you told me about a story of you going to a vampire role-playing thing.
Yeah, it wasn't not as cool or creepy as you'd think.
Oh, okay. Like, you always made it like, it almost like the Ouija board thing, where you're just like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like,
no,
like,
I don't want to talk about that just because, like, no, that whole experience just felt kind of like, I was like, oh, like, is this what?
No, we're like, you guys are
what I act like. I was like, is this what I act like? And like, it's just kind of, it was LARPing. So it was like that experience, but everybody's LARPing a vampire.
Oh, I gotcha.
So like, I mean, that's what, like, I just described the whole experience and you know exactly how that experience went.
Okay. I thought it was more like creepy. Like, you went in there and like, you're just like, this is something I wish it would have been. Of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And make
that would have been awesome.
Episode. Like, I saw a girl kill a man, Richard or Shawn. She sucked his blood.
Choked him. She choked him out and then bit his neck.
She's like, oh my God, I feel so alive. She's like, you want a hit? You're like, I sucked a man's blood, Shawn. I sucked him dry. I can still taste the pennies.
And then me and Midnight Moonlights made out for hours while we listened to The Cure.
I've never been so hard in my life, Shawn.
I had the whole, I'd listen, oh God, that fucking goddamn Cure. Anyway, but yes, carried on through most of my childhood, fascination with vampires, and the whole thing stemmed from Dracula.
Nice. I like it. I always was a big fan of vampires. I've never read the book Dracula though. Is it definitely worth the read then if you've been through it 3 times?
I'd say it's definitely it's definitely one of those books that like I should read that before the end.
Read it again. Or just you mean in general?
Yeah.
Like, that's a book that
in
should
general.
Be on your
it's one of those books that like, you know, you should read it before you die. It's
All
on
right,
your.
Richard.
Put it on your bucket list.
Okay. Well, for my third round pick, Richard, this kind of ties into the stuff that's, it's a lot of the things that scare me are things you can't really do anything about. And this was one that, it was a creature that came back every so many years. It's kind of like It, but not really It. It had to feed. So I guess this really kind of is very similar to It, but I'm not going to bury the lead too much, but it's the Jeepers Creepers monster. So
I thought about putting this on my list, but I didn't.
The second and third ones are kind of rough, but the first one is really good because
the second and third one are the reasons that I didn't put it on my list, because I figured I would say the Jeepers Creepers monsters, and then you're like, yeah, except for those other two movies, and I'm like, fuck you.
But the first one, I think I saw this one in theaters, but it really captures just like the isolation and the fear. Like you talk about, like this was done like in 2001, 2002.
So yeah, how about that?
A lot of people didn't have cell phones, but you still were kind of like, it wasn't the 70s and 60s. Like you'd be on a back road and you'd be somewhere within a couple hours. Yeah. But this was like one of those where all of a sudden you see this guy dumping a body and you're like, oh my God, this is a serial killer. Like, holy shit, he saw us. And like, no, it's worse than that. It's a supernatural killer. And you learn that it comes back every so often. It's all this thing by smell. And it's a whole kind of like, twist. It's like, oh my God, he's coming after my sister. I got to save my sister. And like,
it looked like a gargoyle.
Yeah.
Is what it looked like to me.
And the newer ones, they just kind of make him look like a dude though.
Yeah. I didn't see much. I don't remember much of of 2 and 3.
Yeah. But he fed off fear. He had a cool little truck thing. But it's just like the reason this is scary, because it was kind of supernatural, but it wasn't. So it kind of
with Jeepers Creepers, like I would say the first like 30, 40 minutes of the movie is very reminiscent of Duel. Did you ever see Duel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Steven Spielberg movie where it's just like a dude in his car, and then there's this truck that just like won't fucking like leave him alone. And you never see the driver of the truck, but this truck is just constantly like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
Isn't there a movie about, fuck, what was that movie? It was like it had the dude from Fast and the Furious in it. And they were on a CB and they're pretending to be a girl.
Oh shit. That one I don't remember. But yeah, the first like 40 minutes of Jeepers Creepers reminded me hands down of the movie Duel. And so like, that's not where your headspace is at. Like you're just thinking like, oh, this is a crazy dude in a truck. And then it's not until you get to the last like 20 minutes of the movie that you're like, what the fuck is this thing? Like, holy shit, it's got wings and teeth and claws and shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. And then you get to learn, it's like, oh yeah, and this thing comes back every so many years. You're like, what the?
Yeah.
So the movie I was thinking of, Richard, was called Joyride.
Oh, I never saw it.
So it's basically like they're teasing this trucker about like, oh, hey, I'm Candy Cane. And he's like, oh, yeah, Candy Cane. He's like, show me your titties. And then basically it's the same thing. Like you never see the driver. And he's just always chasing these guys in their car and with his big semi-truck.
Ugh.
I should watch that again. That was actually a pretty good movie. Although they made 3 of them, so obviously something probably wasn't right. It's kind of reminiscent of The Hitcher, really. But yeah, you make a good point. It's that whole kind of like, it's one thing but another. Because, in that situation, like it's scary enough, right? Like if it's a serial killer, it's a madman. You're like, holy shit, like this is some fucked up dude. And then when it comes down to it, you're like, wait a second, like this is no dude.
It's worse. They made it worse.
I mean, like, like that whole time when he's about to eat you, you're like, wait a minute. Is Dracula real? Like, what other monsters are real?
Oh my God, they're all real. Hey, everything's real.
Can you take me to Dracula so I could be a vampire? Like, you can have this leg. Like, can I grow another leg? He's like, you've ruined my appetite.
You're the worst.
You're just like Godzilla, Karen. She was down eating fish, and then she came back like, who ruined my fish? But my third round pick, Richard, I'm going to go with the Jeepers Creepers monster.
All right. For my next monster, I'm going to go with a couple things that I really don't like and that really creep me the fuck out. One is losing control of your own body, and the second is losing your individuality and being plugged into like a hive mind collective.
I don't think Taco Bell's a choice in this, Richard.
Oh, but it is, Shawn, because for my next pick, I'm going with the parasites from the movie Slither.
Ooh, I was thinking about doing this. I thought The Thing kind of did this a little bit, but I thought like Slither or Body Snatchers, same kind of idea.
Yes. So the thing with Slither is you have those little things that like fucking jump in your mouth while you're fully conscious and cognizant of what the fuck is going on. All of a sudden, this little worm thing jumps into your mouth and fucking gets inside you, and then just starts like making more. And then all of a sudden, you either end up like 500 pounds and you explode into a bunch of these little things, or you fucking like get all mutated and all fucked up and you end up like a big fleshy blob of shit, or like the whole thing is just none of it's good. Like you just, like I said, you basically like you lose your individuality, and just the thought of something like forcing its way inside your body is fucking terrifying to me.
There was this is very much, did you ever read any of the Animorphs books?
No.
Do you know about them at all?
A little bit. A very, very little bit.
So
I know that they
similar.
exist, and that's about it.
So the idea is that like it's these kids who whenever they touch an animal, they kind of get its DNA and they can turn into that animal.
Okay.
But they fight these things, and I just looked it up because I don't remember what it was, but they fight a thing called the Yerks, which is very similar to what you're talking about. They'd crawl into your ear, and then they'd take control of you. And it's scary in that sense because like I think you probably understand what's going on, but you can't stop it.
Yeah.
But the scary thing with this too is they would force you to go into like caves or wherever they had you hidden, and they would trap you when they would come out because they had to come out and like soak or do something. So it's this whole thing of where like you have no control of your body, but you'd see yourself going into basically your own prison.
I don't like that.
Yeah, me either.
But like you watch that movie and you see those things that like leap into people's mouths and climb inside, like that's what I'm saying. Like I know, like I couldn't stand the thought of something like basically like forcing its way into me. Like that to me sounds like fucking horrible. And then after it does that I'm, paralyzed to stop. After that happens, then I lose my individuality, what makes me. I lose that completely and become part of this, collective that just, has me as another like meat sack.
Yeah. And that has no care. Like, and just think too, like if it probably doesn't feel the pain, but like you lose your arm, the whole time you feel that pain, but it's still able to keep going. Like there's a lot of creepy like stuff to think about on that.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. That whole movie, like, it was a good movie. The whole movie just made me like, ooh.
Well, Richard, for my 4th round pick, it's kind of going into that same fear. Like, I'm not the kind of person if I go into like a cave, like the general like tourist attraction caves where they're like, you're, 1,000 feet underground. Like that doesn't bother me. But whenever I see videos of spelunking, that freaks me out. Like claustrophobic, like super tight spaces that you have to kind of like shimmy to get through.
My wife is the same way.
There is a movie that if you have that fear, not only is it like, oh my God, that's creepy, but there's also these deep hidden monsters. So it's the cave monsters, Richard, from the movie The Descent.
I think you wanted me to see this movie and I never did. Yeah.
So the idea here, and like you think about it, it's like this could be realistic. These are semi-humanoid type creatures that are like cannibals. These group of girls, they go spelunking, they go deep into these caves, they get lost, they're kind of shimmying through. But they end up falling so deep into this cave that they run into these monsters that are just these unable to see, can hear really well, like almost like humanoid bats.
Okay.
crawling around and eating. And
Yeah,
the creepy thing with this is, it's like they can only like sense you from movements. So there's so many scenes where you're like sitting as still as you can and they're just walking over top of you or next to you. And it's just like the fears you have of like, oh my God, the killer's in the house, and you get under your bed. And you're like, all right, well, am I quiet enough? Is it going to think I'm here? And all of a sudden, bam, it drops under and looks at you under the bed. And you just like, well, now I'm fucked because now I'm stuck under a bed.
Right.
But I mean, I like the whole claustrophobic spot. And again, like watching this movie, it was in a theater that was empty too, and I got like queasy because it's that whole like if I can't shift my body, that's when I like freak. Because I pop like my fingers and my neck, and if I feel like I'm in a spot where I can't do that, like I just get like super tense and I just like almost freak out. And this movie did it for me. And plus, you had the monsters.
So you like burst out of the theater like.
I need some free. I need to breathe some air. But yeah, that was a huge fear for me. Was the cave monsters from The Descent.
Again, that's a movie that I know you wanted me to see, and I didn't.
I think you'd like it.
I do remember the trailer for it, and I remember the like seeing somebody like light a torch or something, and there's a thing like right next to him.
Yeah.
The thing looked creepy as fuck because it was like big black eyes.
Yeah. Isn't that your fear? Like you go to the bathroom and you flip on a light, like you're waiting for something to be standing there.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me if you do this. Whenever you go to somebody's house, like, and you go to the bathroom, do you always check behind the shower curtain before you?
Even so, none of the showers in my house have curtains. They all have kind of the see-through glass doors. But even in my own house, when I had curtains, I always checked behind the curtain.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't do it in my house, but I always do it at everybody else's. Anytime I'm in somebody's house, if I go in the bathroom, I immediately look behind the curtain before I need to do any business.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's a spot you don't want to be like, all right, I'm going to sit here and sit here. I'm about to kill you. You're like, oh, this isn't how I thought it'd end.
I haven't even wiped yet. God damn it.
Do your bidding.
All right, Shawn. My list is growing smaller, but I think I've got my next pick. For my next pick, I'm going to go with a movie. It's a holiday movie, Shawn. Because who doesn't love the holidays? Who doesn't love Christmas?
Ooh, Christmas is a good time of year.
It's a good time of year. But you know what is a bad gift to get? Never get someone a pet for Christmas.
You
no pets.
Son of a bitch.
So for my next pick, I'm going to go with a pet. Well, it was bought as a pet, but then somebody didn't listen to the fucking directions.
Yeah, it's not that difficult, kid.
And birthed my next pick, which are the Gremlins.
Yes, this was on my list. This was I went back to watch this movie like right after high school, and it's pretty scary.
Right? Like it still is a little creepy.
Yeah, because when the Gremlins happen, like you have what the fuck's the good one's name?
Mogwai. Gizmo.
No, Mogwai's
Gizmo. Well, Gizmo is a Mogwai.
Yeah, but the Gremlins are the bad things. The Gremlins is what comes from him.
Led by Spike.
Yeah.
Because he was the gremlin that had like the mohawk.
Yeah, that scene where they shoot that grandma off that thing that raises her up the stairs still fucks me to this day. You're like, what'd she do wrong? She's like, ah!
Well, she was a fucking mean old lady.
I mean,
fuck her.
Aren't old ladies pretty mean?
Not my grandma. My grandma is the sweetest lady you'll ever meet in your life.
That's true. That's
100%.
Most of the old ladies I know are pretty nice.
But fuck that one, because she was a bitch.
She was an Karen?
Old bitch. I bet it was. If not, I think she just earned the title through being a complete shit. But yeah, so I totally agree with you. The first one was kind of creepy. Was actually kind of scary, especially if you were younger. The second one, I feel like, was a bit more campy.
Yeah, I thought later on they got more campy.
Well, I feel like with the second one, it's like somebody watched the first one and saw all the like hijinks and shit that the Gremlins did and was like, hey, let's just make a movie where they just do more of that.
Yeah, let's turn this up to 11.
Yeah. But like the first one, like you said, like it's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Like especially like there's the Santa. There's that one bit in the first one where the Santa's like fucking like and he's fucking covered in them. There's like 5 or 6 of them like hanging on him. Like that's fucking terrifying. But all the kid had to do was follow the goddamn rules. And then he wouldn't have had that fucking problem.
Yep. Don't get them wet. Don't feed them after midnight.
Exactly. Don't get them wet. Don't feed them after midnight. Why is that? And it's not like, you know, it's not like fucking Gizmo was like, hey, let me go jump in a bathtub. Like,
oh, and keep out of bright lights too.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, it's not like Gizmo was stupid.
No, Gizmo was smart. He's like, hey, dude, if you get water on me, I'm going to spit out some eggs. Were they eggs or were they just baby ones? I don't remember.
Well, it was eggs. It spit out eggs, then the eggs hatched, and then the gremlins came out. But they were like creepy as they looked like the eggs from fucking Alien.
Yeah, but they were mogwais when they first came out until they went and ate and they became gremlins.
Yeah.
Because I always get gremlins and critters mixed up. Did you ever watch Critters?
I liked Critters. I liked Critters.
Critters was like even scarier to me.
Well, yeah, because I think Critters was meant to be scarier.
Yeah, they had like
Gremlins was like, yeah, Gremlins was like, hey, we're scary, but you know we get into mischief.
Yeah, Critters was like, we're earnest, scared, stupid, scary, where it tricks you. You're like, this is just like Gremlins, and then it's like, wait a minute, this is nothing like Gremlins. I'm serious. Go watch Ernest Scared Stupid. It scared the shit out of me as a kid. There's like a fucking troll thing that he's fighting.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's scary.
Oh, shit. All right. So, Shawn, there's my pick. It's the Gremlins. Gotta love the Gremlins.
All right. For my 5th round pick, Richard, I think you could very broadly pick this thing, but I think you have to pick a very specific type. And, you know, it was a big thing, you know, about 7 or 8 years ago. There's still a little bit of it going, but it's always kind of gone through times, you know, where it's up and downs. But for me, Richard, zombies is a very scary thing. You know, I think you look at Walking Dead zombies, it's not as scary because it's just, you just kind of can't let your guard down.
Yeah.
But the kind of zombies that freak me out, Richard, and scare me are the fast moving zombies.
I think that's everybody's fear.
Because it's like, what do you do? Like you look, and there's multiple kinds of it too. Like you have the Dawn of the Dead style where you get bit, instantly you turn. And that's scary. I guess it's not instantly, but you turn after you die. But then you have the 28 days later type zombies where you get infected and within minutes you're turning.
Yeah.
And that, you know.
And then you had World War Z where it was like 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Ugh. I actually just started listening to the World War Z book. It's really good.
Oh, fucking the audiobook. The audiobook is amazing.
I'm like halfway through
doesn't Max have like different people narrating different parts of the book?
Yeah, there are a shit ton of people in that narrating. Nathan Fillion does it. Sean Pegg. God, there's a bunch of great voices. Like, I think his dad does too.
Yeah, from what I remember, I think I remember him talking. Well, I've listened to the audiobook, but I remember him talking about the audiobook. And like he is like Max Brooks is very like he goes above and beyond when it comes to his audiobooks. If there's ever audiobooks that you should listen to, I would definitely pick anything Max Brooks, because he definitely like goes the extra mile on his audiobooks.
Yeah, I'm like 2/3 to that one. It is fantastic. I mean, it's more like an audio drama than an audiobook.
Yeah.
If you like podcasts or like audio drama podcasts, that one is perfect for you.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, like I always think of the zombie apocalypse. It's like, what would you do? Like if it's the slow moving Walking Dead type, like, yeah, you're infected. There's things you could do to kind of keep yourself safe. But if it's one of those where like you get bit, you're going to turn really quick. And then you got to worry about running. Like that's just, I mean, Black Summer, the Netflix TV show was kind of like this. It's super scary. Like like they get you trapped and then you're stuck. And then like what happens if somebody gets infected there? 28 weeks later, I think even infused this fear even more. They're like, oh my God, everybody, we've got this under control. And then the dude goes in and kisses his wife and he becomes infected right away. And that whole sanctuary is infected within minutes. Like it's, and that plays on I'm not a super germaphobe, but that definitely kind of gets into the germaphobe situation. Cause that would be less supernatural and more kind of biological.
Yeah, agreed. I was gonna say, like, the Dawn of the Dead remake, the first like 5 minutes of that movie, like, fucking just throws your whole world into goddamn chaos. Yeah. Because originally, like, you go, oh, I'm gonna go see a Dawn of the Dead remake. Like you have an idea of what to expect. Oh, I'm gonna see zombies. Oh, they're gonna shamble around. Like, oh, they're gonna go to a mall. Like, okay. The first 5 minutes, all of a sudden, things go from 0 to 100, like on a fucking dime, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, they're not supposed to run. Like, when she tears off in the car. And the dude comes out of the house and just fucking full on like is running behind the car. You're like, he's not supposed to do that. That's against the rules. The rules that we had set up about zombies. Like, he's breaking those. That can't. No. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah. The don't stop zombie is super fucking scary.
Ugh.
I mean, that's one of those, like, in the first, like, day, if you make it, you might have a better chance, but that's one of those where you're going to get caught in just a shitty situation, and you're like, oh, well, I'm fucked.
Yep. Yeah. You're just, I feel like with Shamblers, like, you kind of have more time to process and think, but I feel like in that instance, it's, one misstep, and then you're just like, well, that was it. Like,
Hey, what's Shawn doing all the way over here? Oh, God, dead. But yeah, my fifth round pick, Richard, I'm going to go with fast-moving zombies.
All right. What are we on? We're on 5. I'm on 5. What's going to be number 5 for me? All right, number 5. I'm going to go with a movie that I love. And this monster was in this movie. The monster wasn't necessarily scary in terms of what it did, because you never really saw this monster do anything. But this monster looked terrifying as fuck. And there's one scene in particular that I'm thinking about where you see it. But the monster, Shawn, is the demon dogs from Ghostbusters.
Ooh, okay.
Like, did those things just not look exactly? Did those things just not look absolutely horrifying? And you don't really see him do anything in that movie. Like, you see him like growl and snarl a lot, and they run around, but you don't see it eat. Like, you don't see it eat anybody. You don't see it tear anybody up. At one point, they open a door and fucking throw a coat on its head.
That's true, yeah. No, I think and that's kind of like the old ghost stories, like the old ghost movies kind of did that, where you didn't really see it, so your imagination's really what made that scary. I think of, I mean, even to an extent like The Exorcist, like you don't see what's going on there.
Yeah.
And those kind of, that's one that'll keep you up at night. Like, that's always the fear.
But the scene where, what fear do you have?
Oh, I was just going to say, like, you're sitting in bed and something pulls your covers off you and you can't see anything there, and you flip on the lights and there's nothing there.
Yeah. The scene that I'm really thinking of is when Sigourney Weaver's in her apartment and you see the dog's like face pressing through the wall. Or the door, like it's like the door is like almost like fabric, and you see the dog's face like kind of press in, like you're seeing its silhouette, and then the door fucking opens and it's all black except for one shining light, and there's this fucking demon dog on the other side, and then those hands come up from the chair and like pull her into the room with the dog, and the door just shuts, and that's all you see. That's it. Door just shuts, and apparently something happens with Sigourney Weaver and this fucking demon dog. You don't know.
No.
And then the other demon dog gets Rick Moranis, jumps through a door, fucking chases him across Central Park.
Yeah, people just think he's crazy. Oh, yeah, that's actually, if you want to talk scary, like he's yelling for help.
Yeah.
That's a fear I have, is like you're going to be someone
He's yelling for help.
And everybody's like, what the fuck's
nobody's
this crazy
listening.
guy? Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody just thinks you're fucking nuts.
Yeah. Ugh.
But you're not nuts, Shawn. You're being chased by a fucking demon dog. So there you go. There's my 5th round pick, the demon dog from Ghostbusters.
Well, my 6th round pick, Richard, like I don't want to really talk about sharks or anything like that because we all know my fear of sharks. But you think about it and you're like, okay, I'm in the desert. I'm on land. I'm safe, right? Like there's nothing that's going to come up and gobble me up from underneath
land
my
shark,
feet, right? Land shark. There's no such thing. But Richard, this is a tale. It's got Reba McEntire in it. It's got Kevin Bacon in it. Richard, my 6th round, the scariest thing on land, it's the Tremors monsters.
Yep.
So this is, you can't make any noise. There's a guy who was so scared he climbed up a telephone pole and he died of starvation and dehydration up there because of what was underneath his feet. These big ass alien worm things.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and I saw this movie and I was like, it's not bad. But there was a sleepover I was having with a buddy of mine in like 3rd grade. And he was telling me about it. He's like, we should watch Tremors. I'm like, no, like I'll get scared. I'll have nightmares. Like, I don't want to. He's like, but it's got Reba McEntire in it. You like country music. You'll be okay. I'm like, no. But it's got Kevin Bacon. I'm like, is that the cute guy from that one movie about dancing?
Yeah. And then they're like, cute guy. And he's like, I meant guy.
Yeah. And then my parents had to come pick me up and I had to go home. But Tremors was always just kind of a cool idea, scary idea, because like you have fears as a human of like animals above ground that you can see, but we really don't have any fears like even from the sky or underneath the ground from attacking us, right? It's all more on our plane of visibility. But this just adds a whole new layer of fear in there, and definitely creeps me out whenever I saw it. What was your thoughts on Tremors?
I liked the premise. I like the premise of like, hey, you feel like you're on like you said, like you feel like the safest place you can be is the ground beneath your feet.
Yeah.
Until a giant thing bursts out of the fucking ground and eats your goddamn body. They fucking killed Egg Shen, the dude Egg Shen from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh yeah.
Killed him. He's dead.
You're only safe on rocks. You had to be on rocks to be safe. Did you ever watch the TV show?
And at that point, you're just sitting there going like, well, do I die on this rock or do I let this thing eat me?
Yeah, do I make a run for it? Did you ever watch? Because Kevin Bacon was in the TV show, right?
I don't remember if he was in the TV show. I remember the other guy. I can't think of his name. The guy that was with Kevin Bacon. I always forget his name.
The hunter guy? The guy that was the big hunter?
No, that's oh God, now I'm forgetting his name too. He was in the guy who was in Family Ties is the guy you're thinking of.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck. Oh, that's gonna bother me. That guy, the guy you're talking about, he was in like the whole fucking series. They made like 6 or 7 fucking movies.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them.
And he's in all of them. I can't think of I'm trying to think of who his fucking name is. Oh, like I said, it's gonna bother me. Fred Ward is the guy that I'm thinking of, but he was in the second one, and I think that might have been it for him. Michael Gross, that's the guy you're talking about, the big hunter dude that had like the wall of guns. That's like Reba McEntire's husband. Yeah. He was in all of them.
He had the mount.
They made. Fuck, how many did they make?
There's a bunch of. There's a lot of like made for TV ones.
Like I'm seeing 6 right here. So altogether like 7 or 8, and I think he's in every single fucking one of them. They even had one I think that like went back to like the Old West, and he's in that one too.
Nice.
I don't know how the fuck that happened.
No, but yeah, it's definitely one of those things where again, under your feet, creepy, and it's the Tremors monster for my 6th round pick.
I like it. It was on my list. It was definitely on my list. Ooh, pick number 6. This one's hard. Oh, this one's really hard. The 6th one's hard because it's not really so much that you know what your 7th one's going to be, but like you want to make sure to get one in.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I really should. I should put that one on. Oh, I should put that one on. Yeah. Okay. So Shawn, for my next pick, I'm going to go with a monster that terrified me, like really, really scared me when I was a kid. And it's a very simple monster, and it was a puppet. But like just the way it talked and the way it moved its mouth, and just like you could hear the sinisterness in his voice. And it was at the very end of a movie, and its entire goal was to destroy the world for no other reason than just because. And Shawn, for my 6th round pick, I'm going to go with the Warg, which was the wolf from the movie The Never-Ending Story.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The very end of Never-Ending Story, Atreyu like has done all this questing and everything, and he gets to where like the world is like starting to like the nothing is starting to like tear things apart, and all you see there's a wolf in a cave, and it's like it's just this wolf in a cave, and the wolf's talking to him, and you could just hear him talk, and he just sounds like fucking like sinister and apathetic to any sort of joy or happiness in the world. And Atreyu's talking to him like, why? And he's like, just cause.
Yeah. So I've got his name is Gamork. And so like one of the quotes I have here is, if you come any closer, I'll rip you to shreds.
Yeah.
And the other quote is, I am the servant of the power behind the nothing. I was sent to kill the only one who could have stopped the nothing. I lost him in the swamps of sadness. His name was Atreyu.
Yeah.
That's creepy. Yeah, the picture of it's freaking scary as hell.
But like I said, like at the end of the day, it's just a puppet. Like you just like you're looking at it, and it just like it's a puppet, and it only really kind of turns its head and moves its mouth. Like it looks like, honestly, it looks a lot like a scary version of one of the fucking like robots you see at Chuck E. Cheese. You know, because this movie came out in like the 80s. But this thing's fucking sinister as fuck. And at the very end, like it figures out that this boy it's talking to is Atreyu. And so you see it like growling and snarling. And the only thing you see is it leaps out of the cave to like kill him. But then he has a rock, and he stabs it and kills it. And then like Atreyu's got like blood all over his fucking hands and shit like that. So this is a monster that does die in the movie.
Yeah, I used to watch Neverending Story so much when I was like 6 to 7. I need to rewatch it. It's one I'm nervous to rewatch and be like, what was all the hype about?
I don't know. I watched it a bunch when I was a kid.
Have you watched it like recently?
I honestly don't remember the last time I watched it. Not recently. No, not recently. So yeah, I mean, isn't really much more. But like when I was a kid, like that wolf fucking terrified me. Not really so much because like at the end of the day, like it's a big scary wolf. Like, okay. But just the fact, just like this wolf had this attitude, like, yeah, I want the world to end because fuck it.
Why not?
Yeah. Bad why not? All
right, Richard, for my 7th round money shot pick, I talked about how it's scary to feel like something's coming from underneath you, but I am scared of water, and I am scared of oversized animals. So for my 7th round money shot pick, I'm going to go with oversized reptiles. Specifically, I'm talking about like Lake Placid and Anaconda. So,
Okay.
Anaconda is the story of the snake that is super over, because anacondas are big snakes and they have been known to eat, children and like smaller humans.
Right.
But this anaconda is one that is so big that it just eats humans no matter the size.
Yeah.
And that's scary. Lake Placid, it's a giant ass, I think it's a crocodile, right?
I don't know.
I think it's a crocodile. Because the idea is like it swam across the ocean. But like you have these things that are so massive that like I swim in the lake. Like who's to say there's not a giant ass snake in that lake or a giant ass crocodile? Because people go missing in that lake all the time, Richard. They like dive off a diving board and all of a sudden they're like, oh, where'd Bob go?
Well, that's because there's a killer at the bottom of the lake, Sean.
Mm-hmm. And that killer is a crocodile.
Oh.
Who's being fed by Betty White.
I was going to say tetanus, but, whatever.
Well, there is that. But it's kind of, it kind of goes back to like Godzilla and things like that. Because a lot of times with these, it's kind of a man-made or a man-influenced animal. Like some of the newer ones talk about like climate change has caused this monster, nuclear explosion. I think the anaconda was like, it was a part of the Amazon that was left alone. And so it allowed them to get bigger. I don't know if you've seen the giant snake that they found fossils for recently. It's been like maybe 6 years ago. I can't remember the size of it because back in whenever the snake was around, the climate was a lot warmer. So reptiles, apparently, they theorize that if the climate's warmer, they can grow to be bigger, is the way I kind of understood it. So like the snake was just like, the snake was big enough to eat a human, like no problem. But yeah, oversized reptiles creep me out because it's just, again, it's an animal that it doesn't mean you any harm, or I mean, I guess it means you harm, but it doesn't have hatred in it. It's just like, hey, you look like a tasty morsel. I'm going to slither up to you, grab you, pull you in the water, choke you to death, and then swallow you whole. And you might be alive after
That's
you do
the thing that freaks me out with alligators is like, it's not that they kill you by like eating your face. They grab you and then drown you first, and then they eat your face.
They death roll
I don't like it.
And then they like put your body underneath rocks in the water so you like decompose a little bit. They're like, aged human.
I disapprove.
But my money shot pick, Richard, is the oversized reptiles.
All right, Sean, for my last pick, I'm not burying the lead. I'm going right into it and the reason I'm picking this, like these things are scary in terms of like the way and how they move, but they're also scary. They honestly, the look I've never seen anything like it, and I probably will never see anything like them. They are honestly the stuff of nightmares. Sean, I'm going with the xenomorphs from the Alien series.
I thought about different aliens. My only thought was like most aliens are intelligent. Because I almost thought about like Predator or something like that, but yeah, the xenomorphs are.
Predator was on my list, but I gotta give it to the Alien. Like just H.R. Geiger, the person that designed the way the Alien as we know it looks today, like that thing is fucking creepy.
Oh yeah,
like that thing just looks like the stuff of nightmares. Like it crawls around.
Yeah.
It's got that little extra, mouth that sticks out. It crawls around on floors and ceilings. It's got a tail.
It spits acid, right?
It spits acid. It also bleeds acid.
It's like
and not
if
like
you get a killing blow.
Yeah. Then you get acid all over your fucking face. So you can't even do that thing where you kill something and then blood goes everywhere and you look all badass.
Yeah.
Like, no, you kill it and blood goes everywhere and then you've burned off half your fucking face.
Yeah. If you do the warrior kill after you kill it, you're like, I'm going to pour its blood on my face. Oh, fucking shit.
Bad choice. But like this thing just I've never seen any, like, I don't even know how someone would come up with the inspiration to draw that and be like, hey, what if it looked like this?
Well, it definitely has kind of the alien-esque look, but it definitely kind of expands on. It's like It's like if somebody did the Gremlins, but they made it NC-17. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
'Cause you're like, okay, Gremlins are like this. Like, no, here's your NC-17 Gremlin. You're like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't like it. I don't like him at all.
No, thank you. Well, Richard, what'd you have for
my. So okay. So for some of my M butts, I had the Deadites from the Evil Dead series.
Oh, that's a good one.
I felt like those kind of fell not really so much in the zombie category, but kind of a monster unto themselves. So that was one. Another one I had was the Devil from Legend. Tim Curry's Devil in Legend.
Yeah.
Just because he looked amazing.
The Devil in general would have been a good one.
Yeah, because, oh God, fucking Legend, like, he has that big long horn that goes around, and he talks, and when he gets angry, like, you see this, fucking great fucking work in that movie. This was not a movie, but I put it on my list just so I could mention it here. And it's from the show Doctor Who, and there's an enemy on there called the Silence.
Okay.
And what they are is it's an alien that like shoots electricity, but that's not it looks like your quintessential, gray-skinned big head alien. But the thing that's so fucking creepy about them, they also wear clothes, like suits. But the thing that's so fucking creepy about them is you only know that they're there when you're looking directly at them. As soon as you turn your head, like as soon as you turn away, and as soon as you're not looking at them anymore, you instantly forget that they're there. So imagine that, Shawn, like big scary monster. Like, and you're like, holy shit, it's a big scary monster. And then you turn to tell me that there's a big scary monster. And you turn to me like all fucking terrified. And I'm like, what? And you're like, I don't know. It was probably nothing.
You ever get that feeling like something bad's about to...
And then you die. And then I'm looking at this thing going, holy shit, what was I doing? Like that, does that, that seems terrifying unto itself.
Maybe I should, wait, Shawn, do you ever get that feeling that,
Nope. I did have the Predator on my list. I had Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, yeah, that's a creepy one.
That's a great monster.
Killer Plants.
And the last one,
creepy.
the last one I had on my list, which is not really so much one monster, but more of a montage of monsters. But I feel like I should mention it because I just rewatched it a couple days ago, and I remembered why I liked it so much. The movie Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, I think that's where I got the zombies from. But yeah, definitely the whole. I mean, you could just go through the whole list of those. Like that's you take the screenshot. Yeah.
There's a merman in there, and like I've never seen a merman look like that.
Every year, put the money on merman.
He had the conch in his hand. I'll never get to see a merman. You don't want to. Those things are fucking terrifying.
The only ambut I had that we didn't get to was oversized bugs. I don't know if you remember the sci-fi movies of like Mosquito and Tick, where basically it's kind of it all falls into like the chemical, fallout or something like that, nuclear fallout, and mosquitoes or ticks become these big monsters.
Or them was the one with the giant ants, right?
Might have been. I don't remember those. Remember that one.
So you're saying movies with you mean giant bugs, not necessarily like human looking bugs.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
They're
so
just
not
bugs.
like District 9.
No, yeah, or not like The Fly, where somebody becomes a fly.
I gotcha.
But let me run through these picks real quick. So for my first round pick, I had Cloverfield Monster. Second round pick, The Thing. Third round pick, Jeepers Creepers. Fourth round pick, The Cave Monsters from The Descent. Fifth round pick, Fast Moving Zombies. Sixth round pick, Tremors. Seventh round money shot pick, Oversized Reptiles. And then for Richard, for his first round pick, he had Godzilla. Second round pick, Dracula. Third round pick, Parasite from Slither. Fourth round pick, Gremlins. 5th round pick, Demon Dogs from Ghostbusters. 6th round pick, the Warg Wolf from The Neverending Story. And 7th round money shot pick, Xenomorphs. Yeah, Richard, so now I'm scared. I won't be able to go to sleep. So why don't you give us a little bit of Richard's closing thoughts to help me not get to sleep even more?
So when we decided to do this, it was, like, well, we've already done, a draft on, on killers in movies. And I'm like, yes, but all those killers were people. What about the things what about the killers in movies that aren't people? What if they're monsters? What if we did a draft on monsters? I was like, think about all the monsters in movies. Werewolves, vampires, parasites.
We didn't get werewolves or Frankenstein in there.
No, we didn't.
Those kind of feel borderline to me, though. That's why I didn't put them on my list.
Yeah, I could see that. Like fucking eerie cave monsters, like all that shit. Like those are all terrifying. In some degrees, they're even more terrifying than your average slasher movie.
Yeah,
I was like, let's pick those.
Point.
Yeah, these things are killing either because they're hungry or just cause. So, yeah, I guess to wrap it up, like monsters are scary too.
I like it. Well, as I'm boarding up the house, then I'll do a little bit of housekeeping here as we're getting ready. And guess what, everybody? Next week, what are we going to do, Richard? We're going to get to do our Broloween episode.
I
6th
know.
year in a row. I'm so excited.
Almost the best.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Broloween? I love
Everybody
it.
loves
You love it.
Broloween.
Everybody, the Xenomorphs love it.
They do. That's why they tune in. That's why they come back every October 31st.
Yeah,
Just to
Sean's
download
house.
that episode. All right, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're languageofbros.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbros.com. Like us on Facebook. Get your LOB merchandise by going to the TeePublic store and searching for Language of Bromance. If you want a little Halloween-themed gear, you could get our Lucy 666. And if you don't want any new merchandise, you got enough stuff, you can always throw a little bit of cash money into our Patreon account. Just go to patreon.com/language of bromance. And we are part of the spookiest network ever, the Pod Bros Network.
The movie, the call that's coming from inside the house.
What is it? It's an oversized squirrel. All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
And a nope.
All right. Well, that's all the bros we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why. Be a why.
A why not? Unless you want to know, unless somebody's like, hey, can we let these things inside the house? In which case you say, why? Don't say why not. That is when you say why.
Well, they just look like zombies. Definitely not. They should not be allowed inside.
Nope. They're the walking kind. Oh, that's fine then.
We'll just set the furniture up in a maze.